thank you so much for joining us this evening. We are really, really excited. We are happy to be here, and we look forward to having an interactive session. We have with us Mr. Kevin Adipo. Maybe Kevin, you can introduce yourself before we introduce the partners.
Hello everyone. My name is Kevin Adipo. I work with Atara Solutions as the HR associate, and currently Grace here is helping me to and nurturing me to do this so that we can get it right together.
Yeah, yes. It's called mentorship, Kevin. Yeah, and so Kevin is part of the team, and he's learning to become moderator of choice. We have to leave footsteps behind. And of course, we have Catherine Sidandi. Catherine Sidandi is our sign language interpreter. We at Atara Solutions seek out to be as inclusive as we can. And we start by having a sign language interpreter with us to attend to part of the team and to help us be inclusive. So thank you so much. And we are looking forward to a wonderful session. My name is Grace Nzula. I'm a HR consultant and trainer with Atara Solutions. Atara Solutions is a HR consulting and training firm. What you're tuned in today, if you're joining us for the first time, is Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Get It Right with Atara Solutions is a webinar series that seeks to demystify issues in entrepreneurship and employment. We do this in partnership with a number of organizations who are supporting us in helping us bring these sessions to you as consistently as we can. And today we are very privileged to have one of our partners as a speaker, and we are going to meet him shortly. But in that regard, allow me to just give a shout out to the people who are supporting us. Why is my screen share not working? Okay. All right. I think that will come up. I don't know what's happening. But as part of our partners, we have a Balcon Housing. Balcon Housing is a real estate and property management company. You can check them out on Facebook, Balcon Housing. They also have a website. They sell land and manage property. They've been there for over about 20 years now. And then we have Stallion Construction Company. At the end of this, I'll share with you guys the what do we call it? The profile for Stallion Construction. If you're looking to construct a house, if you're looking to renovate your office, if you're looking to divide your office, then Stallion Construction Company are your people. And then we have Ames College of Business and Technology. Ames College of Business and Technology are a training school. They train all certification, diploma level, among others. They have training, they have courses on everything to do with the school, career. So if you're looking to do your diploma in something or your certificate, Ames College of Business and Technology are there for you. They do courses from HR to technology-based courses to security-based courses. All that is offered at Ames College of Business and Technology. They're actually based in Nairobi at Lotus House. Lotus House is at Haile Selassie Avenue. And for the HR professionals tuned in here, if you're looking for a place to take on your CHRP, then I would suggest you join Ames College of Business and Technology, and they also allow you to study online. And then we have the Career Management Center. Career Management Center is also a HR firm. We have Jen Mutisia, who runs a program for moms who have taken a break and they want to bounce back into employment. And mostly she focuses on moms ladies who have quit to go and take care of the family, and now they are planning to go into employment. She supports them, but she's also a career coach. So if you're stuck in your career, Jane Mutisia is your person. And then we have Pathway Solution Services. Pathway Solution Services has been of great support since season 2. Pathway Solutions have been offering us free trainings on their LMS. LMS is a learning management system. And they have quite a lot of trainings. And most of you have had an opportunity to actually win training with Pathway Solutions Services. And I think for the last couple of sessions, quite a number of you have gotten an opportunity to get free training on the LMS. LMS means that they have loaded the information in a system, you train by yourself, and then you do an assessment, and that will give you a certificate. Yes, they will offer you certificates. And then we have a Wandi restaurant. Wandi restaurant is a restaurant based along Nanyuki Nairobi Highway or Nanyuki Nyeri Highway. It's at Ola Kambiti. Ola, the new petrol station at Kambiti. There is Wandi restaurant there. Oh my God, you should try their food. It's delicious, especially their creamy spinach. Oh dear Lord. And then we have We Clean. We Clean is a carpet cleaning company. We Clean is have a machine that cleans your carpet within 6 minutes. They actually do 24 hours delivery. They'll pick your carpet today. Oh yeah, and by the way, in Nairobi, pickup and delivery is free. They'll pick up your carpet today and they can deliver it back to your house tomorrow, looking very new. So that will be We Clean. So, and we can engage with them further as we go along. All right, so without further ado, I know I have spoken a lot, but it is important to acknowledge the people who have supported us, because we have been doing this. We were calculating with Jacinta today, and we are on our 16th episode. Is it 16th or 17th? Something like that. And that means that we have quite a lot in store. We upload all the recordings on our YouTube channel, which is Get It Right with Atara Solutions, and you will get everything there. You will get everything that we have discussed on our YouTube channel. Season 1, we did 26 episodes. Season 2, we've done 34 episodes. And right now we are on episode 16. So with all this, that means that you are loaded with good information. And I hope you're getting it right in your businesses and in your growing your career. So allow me to introduce Mr. Frank Wambari, or like we call him, Frank Sir. Frank has been a great support. He is a trainer and coach with Pathway Solution Services. I keep missing the services and solutions. So if you hear me saying that, Frank, you'll forgive me. And, and Frank has lived in the UK for quite a while, but he's Kenyan. And I'm sure he'll tell us more about that. So Frank, take it away.
Thank you very much. Good evening to everyone. Let me just share my screen, and then we continue. Basically, people think coming abroad is a bed of roses, but it's not. Do I have co-hosts sharing?
Yes, you do, Frank.
Okay, because okay, that's fine. So, so we are talking tonight about working abroad. Think before you jump. Just as you can see that picture of that guy try to jump to go to the other side. You need to think before you jump. It's not everything that greets us is good. So my name is Frank Wambari, as Grace have said. And I'm a lead corporate trainer and a founder for Pathway Solution Services. And I'm a certified master transformational coach, a certified business enterprise coach. And I'm also a professional life coach and relationship coach and a career coach, among many other hats that I do wear. And in addition, I also have my bachelor's degree, which I earned here in UK. And also have done a postgraduate master's in HR. Let's come to the perspective. Working abroad, think before you jump. I want to start with 2 stories, and then before we proceed to the next slide. There's one couple that moved to America about 35, 40 years ago. And when they moved there, they excelled very well. And even they got their own house, and they did very, very well. And their children, they became doctors. Now, as you see in my slide about the challenges, as I'll be talking about this, the lady worked as a counselor in a trauma hospital, and she was on call. And quite a lot, many people who come abroad, sometimes they will work on jobs where they are on call, or they are working in different shifts. So what used to happen is that she will stay at home until the call comes, whether it's day or night. So sometimes when there's no call, she will rest at home, but until when the call comes, but she was to be 24/7. Now the challenge was she could not sleep very well because she was to be ready for any call that comes. Over the period of 10, 15 years, she ended up suffering from what is called insomnia. And insomnia later on produced what is called anxiety and depression. For those who do not know what is insomnia, that means she was not able to sleep. Eventually, that led to an acute depression, and she was on mental health antidepressant and other medication. Unfortunately, because of sickness, the house was sold that they had worked for, and she lost the job and eventually went back to Kenya. Now, the next story that I want to share is of my pastor who went to America. When I discussed with him what I was going to speak, he shared his story. In 1975, he landed in US. And when he went there, some of the cultural shocks that he suffered were the issue of weather, the issues of racism, the issues of discrimination, the issues of relatives of relying on him, yet they were not understanding that he had to study during the day, and then the hours that he was allowed to work, he would work those few hours. Now, having said that context, I want to say that working in abroad or working in different countries is not a bed of roses for so many reasons that I'm going to tell you. Sometimes when you leave your country, you are not really aware whether you're gonna go there and like the country that you're going, because things change. I want to give you my context. The last time I worked in Kenya, I was earning 65,000 grad. It was a very good job and I liked it. Until such a time when I decided I'm going to go and work abroad. Obviously, I knew which country I was coming. I was coming in UK. But I remember my boss, my financial director, sitting me and asking me, Frank, are you sure you want to work abroad? I said, yes. This is a time that I feel I need to go. And then the next thing she told me was like a bombshell. He said, when you work abroad, you're going to be working as a security. And so you'll just be there at the gate with a laptop, opening for people as they come in and as they leave. If not, you're going to work as a personal carer, bathing the old people. And then I thought for a second, am I really prepared to go and do such jobs? But because by the time she's telling me I had already resigned, so I did not want to change my pen. I just decided I'm going to go. As I was preparing, something disaster also happened, and I got a very serious road accident, and the car rode several times, and then I broke my hand, left hand. And therefore I started thinking, now if I go to that part of the world and with the jobs are being told that I'll be doing, I'm not sure what I'm going to do to like it. But I still came. And I'll be telling you more when I came, what did I do and what am I doing? I would like you to put in the chat two reasons why you have decided to attend this training workshop. If you can, just put in the chat 2 reasons why you decided to join this chat. There's some survey feedback that I asked Grace that if you could complete, and I'll ask Grace how far we have gone with that survey feedback.
I am trying to get the survey. Unfortunately, said it would load after. I don't know why, the results. So I'm trying to create the poll right now. So as you read the chat, I'll be able to put the poll up. Just give me a couple of minutes. Yeah.
Thank you. So we'll continue. So what is your intention? Why do you want to travel abroad and work in a foreign land? There are a lot of reasons that you could have, and I had, and any other person will have. But at the end of this presentation, you decide whether working in the country where you are, whether in Kenya, in any part of Africa, or any foreign country, or your country where you are based, whether that is the right place for you. The objectives of today's webinar is we want to demystify the myths of working abroad. We also want, I'll also be highlighting about the jobs available abroad. And then we'll see also the facts about the jobs available abroad, and also the challenges of working in a foreign land. We also highlight the shocks of working or studying abroad, and also the benefits of working abroad. And if you come here and you want to save money and send money back home, how you can do it, and the disadvantages of working abroad, and how you can adapt when you are living abroad. And then eventually, when you have decided you are going to go, what are the tips or some of the things that you really need to know before you leave? And if you decide to settle here, what do you need to know? I start with this quote by Walter Disney, who started the Disneyland, and he said, "All dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them." And in 2021, I said this, that every dream is achievable if you are ready and willing to pay the price. So bear that in point. Now, let me tell you, once I landed in UK, what happened. I landed in UK when it was a winter time. Normally, autumn and winter starts around September. And so many things that I did not know. I did not know there was winter and snow until I landed. And when I came, it was winter. Second thing, I did not know that there was time differences. Although I had learned somewhere in secondary school that some countries may have time differences, the only country I knew could have much time differences was Australia. And therefore, when I came in the month of September, 15 years ago, when we reached the month of October, I was told we have to move the time backward. And then I could not understand what do they mean that you have to turn the time backward. Then again, when the spring comes, around February, March there, again in March actually, we change the time to go forward. I could not understand these things. And when I could see sometimes, especially the summer, we are having long days, even up to 10 in the night is still daytime. And then when we go to the winter period, darkness will still be there until 8 a.m. in the morning. And these are some of the shocks that will meet you here. Every dream is achievable if only you are ready to pay the price. I will demystify the myths that are here when I tell you what I did when I arrived. So, some of the myths, people will tell you when you come in a foreign land, you can only do the security jobs. That isn't true. People will tell you you have to do personal healthcare jobs, working as a carer, as a support worker, or working in healthcare related jobs. Not necessarily. They also tell you that you must do cleaning jobs, like they told me. Not necessarily. Or they'll tell you as a foreigner, you can only do factory jobs. They will tell you office jobs, they are not for foreigners. That is not true. Now, when I came, the first job that I got was working as a sales and marketing person, which I did for 3 months. And bear in mind, except my company that I had worked for 2 years before I did the last job, I had not done sales and marketing as a specialization. But as I was looking for jobs and having known where my strengths were, I applied for that job and got it. Then after that, I realized because of the jobs available here, I needed to do some short courses that are related on the jobs that were available. And because the last time I did IT when I was in Kenya was in 1994, so I decided to enroll on a computer course. And when I was doing a computer course and food hygiene and health and safety, because these are very important things in these parts of the world, then I saw some job opening and I applied. The only challenge I had was the job was working as immigration case worker, but I had not worked as immigration case worker. But because I had done accounting and CPAs and supply chain as well, so I decided, let me apply. If I get interview, I'll go and explain I have done business role, but I'm willing to be trained to do the job. And within 2 days of applying the job, I got a job interview. So the next thing I did, I went to the library, and public libraries, they are normally free. You can print and you can do whatever you want. So I took the books, I read about immigration, why the immigrants leave their countries, why refugees, asylum seekers, they leave their countries, who are they, why they come, and the history of asylum seekers and refugees and economic migrants and all that kind of thing. And of the other parts of the interviews, I knew how to answer interviews because part of the consultancy firm I had also used to prepare CVs, interview people and all that kind of thing. So that was not a big issue. So when I went for the interview, I was interviewed. I could answer the types of migrants that come in UK and for the reasons why they come and all that kind of thing, and other technical bits and here and there. Eventually, when I left that afternoon, I received a call that I got the job, but the test was the following day. And this is what happens in the foreign land, that where the tire meets the load is when you're given the job is whether you can deliver. And most of the jobs you get in a foreign land, it will be minimum supervision, but they have systems in place to control and to monitor whether somebody is able to do the job. So off I went and I was given the keys and I was given the cabinet and I was told that's where the files are and your first client will be arriving in 1 hour's time. So I read the files, I started preparing the case review and all that kind of thing. And I continued doing the work. Within 2 days, I was taken for a training in London, but there was a condition attached to it that I must do the course and I must pass that immigration course. And if I don't pass, there's no need of me to come for the job because I cannot do the job. Eventually, I went and I did the course and I did the test and passed the immigration course very wonderfully, excellently. So once I went back, I got the job and now I started delivering the work. Since then, I moved from that job. I went to business community engagement. I went to the trainer. I did so many things. Even up to today, I work for other employers and I also work for myself. And I've never regretted. So what I'm trying to tell you tonight, don't believe when they tell you that you must only do security or cleaning jobs. It is what you can do and what you can deliver. Different countries will have different challenges. That's one disclaimer I'll put through here. For example, when you come in Europe and US, most parts in US, except maybe Chicago, most of the places, the weather in certain seasons will be very cold and the snow will be a lot, massive. You cannot live in these parts of the land without heating the house. When you hear us, when we say it's very expensive in this part of the land, because the house must be heated. Either you have to use the gas or you have to use electricity to heat the house. For those who go to work in places like, and even in China, also there's a lot of snow for those who are going there. Those who are want to go to Saudi Arabia, Emirates, Qatar, Oman, Kuwait, again, the sun is too hot. It's too hot. They are happy when they work during the night because daytime is extremely unbearable. And these are some of the cultural shocks that will meet you. There are many people that die during the winter because of the flu and because of these codes. Facts about working abroad. One, courtesy. For example, when you work in Europe, you have to learn to say, please, thank you, and sorry. It has to be the order of the day. You get to a taxi, you say, thank you. Even when you are paying and you're the one paying, you have to say, thank you. If you want to arrive somewhere or even the bus, you're telling the bus driver, thank you, please, sorry, and all that kind of thing. In any working place, these are magic words that you have to learn to say, please, thank you, and sorry. If you don't, you are seen as if you are disrespectful. The other thing is this is an open society. One of the shocks that I also saw when I came, there were so many women who were smoking more than men, and they were smoking on open grounds or open places everywhere and anywhere. Whereas the last time I had seen somebody in Kenya smoking was in a Hilton hotel or Indian Beach. I'd never seen massive like that. I also came to see the people in terms of relationship, sexual relationships that are in this part of the world is quite different from what we know. The issue of people swearing, the people doing things in a liberal manner is also something else that I saw, which I had not seen before. I also had carried my shoe polish and my shoe brush because I thought before I go and get a shop to buy, I need to have one to be polishing my shoes. Little did I find that in this country, I do not even need to use shoe polish at all because all the roads are marked and there's no dust at all. Liberty and freedom, although it's free, it can also be curtailed down if you don't comply to what the government wants you to do. The weather, every single day you see people in the foreign land, and especially in Europe, you always find every single day, whether summer or during the day, somebody is carrying a bag. Why? Because you need to carry your raincoat or you need to carry some form of jacket or a jumper because the weather is so much unpredictable. So much unpredictable. You can live in the house, it's sunny, but by the time you are reaching where you are reaching, it might be snowing, it might be rain, it might be very cold, even when it's sunny. Transport system, there's people, they queue in an orderly manner and you cannot find anybody jumping the line. And the other thing, the buses, they stop only on the required places. They cannot stop anywhere and everywhere. Payment, when you are working, you are paid on hourly basis. Even when you have a monthly pay, is quantified in terms of monthly pay. Now, the issue of you employing a house help, for some of you who want to come abroad with your family, you have to be sure on how you're going to manage the small children, because employing a house help here is so expensive. You have to pay the house help or a housemaid the minimum wage. And sometimes you may be working in a company where you are also paid minimum wage. You can't leave the children unattended unless they are 16 years and above. So it becomes very expensive. Challenges working abroad. The first thing that will strike you is homesickness. I want to give you an example of a couple that I know. They came during the COVID-19 in my city. I know them very, very well. And because I'm the chairman or the president of Kenyans in my city, when they came, so I welcomed them. And within 1 month, they said, COVID prevented them from going because the flights were not going. And then in the process, as some people, they say, chini ya maji, they just, said they are here on a Seramsika. And therefore, they were given an accommodation by the government. But within 1 month, they started telling me, we want to go back home. I said, why? Because we are feeling homesick. We left our parents, we left our brothers. There's no way we can live here. One thing that you understand about traveling abroad or working abroad, and especially the Western democracies and US democracies, is where it is individualized life. You can't visit your friend or even a relative, or even any person without an appointment. You have to ring somebody or text somebody and say, can I come to visit you? If the person allows you, that's when you go and visit. So there's a lot of loneliness. There's a lot of emotional and social problems. Families, they break down because most of the times you'll find husband and wife, they are working in a shift, or using the language abroad here, partners. One is working daytime, one is working nighttime, so that they can look for the children. Or sometimes the nature of job is like that. That's this week you're working daytime, the next week you're working nighttime. And because of high amount of tax that we pay, sometimes many people, they are paying taxes almost 40%. Therefore, there's no way you can depend on one job. One job will pay the bills, but for you to be able to save and invest, you have to do another job. Therefore, many families, they fight their marriages, they break down, and they are not able to contain themselves. Those who come single, because the government have said you must earn £18,600 for you to bring your spouse or your partner, it becomes a bit hard for somebody to be able to bring the spouse. Different countries, there are a context on how much you can earn before you bring your spouse. Loneliness is a major issue here because of capitalism and individualism. You will be unable to attend some family occasions. Sometimes your wife is getting a child and you would like to go, or some birthdays, it may not be feasible many times. Cultural shocks. The weather is too cold or either too hot for those who are working in some of these destinations like Middle East. The cost of living is extremely high. Time changes because of the seasons, long day, short day. Places like Australia, you can even have to 13 hours. So there's a lot of cultural shocks. Other challenges, you have to run working long hours. For example, I know some Kenyans who have come now because of the jobs that the government is allowing people to come and work here in health and social care and nursing care sector. And because they are allowed to keep their tax, because they're on 3 years work permit, and then they go back and they can work as many hours as they can. Most of them are working so many hours, and per month, they're able to get about 3,000 to 4,000 pounds, which is good money. But those long hours is very challenging work. For those who are working in health and social care, although you can earn a lot of money, make sure that you are passionate and ready to work in the sector. Because even those you will be caring for, some of them are racist. Some of them will be calling you name monkey and other bad names. And some of them, they might not treat you very well. Of course, there's law in place, but the thing is some of those people who are vulnerable in those positions, they get away that they don't know what they are doing. Families back home, depending on you so much, can sometimes put a strain and stress to you. Also, another shock that you find in a challenge is that the issue of religion, and I use this because I know people have different types of faith, but you find the issue of religious commitment in a foreign country is not too much. Most of the times what you see in the TV is just only the big ministries that have bigger churches. In most cases, if you go to many cities, the issue of going to church or going to temple is not an issue that is followed. The only people who have very deep commitment, irrespective of where they are, is Catholics and the Muslims. And that's why you find in the, like in UK, the fastest growing religion is Muslim. These other Christian religions, you find that going to the church is not a norm. And you find that many churches have been closed, only few churches that operate. You go to a place like a town called York, among many other, you find outside it's called parish church, but when you get inside, it's a very bad club, or it's a club that have discourse that people do all sorts of things. So if you have to be committed to your faith, you have to, you have to inspire yourself, because this is not a norm for many people. First job is not enough. You have to work a lot of jobs. Many people, they lose their faith and they lose their interest and they go back. The issue of families and friends betraying you, a friend invites you or a family friend invites you, but when you come here, if you don't toe the line, they tell you off you go and you have to go and look for another place to stay or you go back. Visa restrictions, because you have to live according to the restrictions of the visa. There's a lot of training offered if you get a job. That's a good thing, but it is important when you're coming to a foreign land, make sure you can be able to use the computers, because most of the jobs, it will involve ICT. If you can, especially if you're coming as a professional, make sure that you understand cross-cultural skills, because you'll be able to know how to work across cultures. The good news is every job is paid minimum wage, national minimum wage. So it doesn't matter what job you do. Of course, the employers can pay you more money. And that's why, like for my case, I have to work for another employer as well, because I can get a lot of money from the employer. But many jobs, at least you must get the national, all the jobs you must work national minimum wage, and the employer can pay you more than that. Of course, you'll be given personal protective, that's a good thing. And the health and safety of every employee is looked after. And all jobs personnel are respected. That's a good thing about working abroad in many countries. But I know some of the countries we have had, like Saudi Arabia, some people have said certain rights are not respected. And payment dates by the employers are respected. And once you get the job, it's pensionable. And if you decide to go back, you'll be given back your pension and your national NI contribution. Now, things that you must know before you board the plane or before you decide I'm going to the green pastures. First thing, expect cultural shocks. Some of them I've already mentioned. Second thing, you might not get your food. Of course, for those who come from West Africa, they are very good in bringing their food items. But for us who come from East Africa, most of the time you're not going to get the food you like. If you live in a big city like Radon, or maybe places like Cresta and Leeds, and a few others, and Scotland, some parts, you may get some few Kenyans who are bringing food items, or depending on which country you are listening this Zoom call, you may get some food items. But most of the times you get that in these parts of the world is fish and chips, shepherd pie, Yorkshire pudding, pizzas, rice, and all that kind of thing. The ability to speak a foreign language is quite important. Of course, if you're going to an English-speaking country like UK, that's good because all of us, we speak English. But even when you come here, you find people have different accents, like those who live in London, Newcastle, Scotland, and other places, but it's still English, but different accent. If you go to Dutch, then you need to speak the Dutch language. If you go to France, you need to speak French. If you're going to Saudi Arabia, Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, you may at one point need to learn their language. If you go to America, of course, it's English language, no problem. As I said, the issue of capitalism and individualism is a big issue. Loneliness, visiting one another, neighbors reporting you, like for example, if you have a garden, you must cut the grass. And that's what I was doing over this weekend for myself, because if a neighbor sees that you have left your grass not cut, he can easily just report you and you get into a serious trouble. Of course, you can't keep, you have to respect the animals. If you keep them like cats, dogs, and any type of animal, you have to respect it. Failure to do that, you'll get in trouble. I said about the housing must be heated. Timing is very important, and seasons, because of the changes that come every season. Racism and discrimination. I want to give you an example. Last Saturday, I was just walking in the city, and just some boys aged between 10 and 14, they just saw me and somebody took a stone and threw it to me. You won't do that if I'm locally born, but they will do such things. During the Halloween, there's which is some of the things that are celebrated in these parts of the world. You find some people will come to somebody's door, they will put pumpkins, or sometimes they will shade somebody's door. They will paint the door and write all sorts of names. And sometimes people will keep knocking the doors, asking you for sweets or for money for Halloween and other things. Currency is a different thing because the currency here is very strong, but at the same time it's also a shock in itself, in the sense that, like, if you are working at the minimum wage and you are working that 7 hours per month, it will be £1,100, which will mean house you pay around 350, you pay council tax around 120, then you pay the TV license, then you pay electricity, then you pay gas, then you are paying food, you are doing this or the other. By the end of it, you are left without any money at all. The taxes here are very high. In terms of working and studying abroad, again, you cannot go to buy medicine on the pharmacy, except maybe Panadol or something like that. Every medication must be prescribed by the doctor, no off the counter. And to get that appointment from the doctor, you must call the doctor and get the appointment. Drinking and smoking, this is the order of the day. Alcohol sale and drinking and smoking is on the higher side, and people have all that liberty. Excessive freedom, relationship and romanticism, you find girls, boys kissing, romancing, men, women, anywhere and any part, which you may not be used to before. I mean, to see people doing all these sort of things in open places. Occasions like celebrating the bank holidays, Halloween, Guy Fawkes. Guy Fawkes is a guy who tried to bomb Parliament in UK, and it's also something that is also celebrated here as well. It's not a national holiday, but people, they do celebrate it. Valentine as well. People drifting from their religious faith, sexual orientations is a major one. And also welcoming summer period, like you find people removing their shirts and almost staying almost like they don't have any clothes so that they can warm themselves in the sun. It's a cultural shock. Other shocks is the issue of thefts of cars, the houses being broken down, pickpocketing, bikes being stolen, and all that kind of thing, and drugs. Fraud, online payments, and card payments, and fake offers, and fake phones is also some other things you'll see. Racism and coffet and blatant. Let me say about coffet is where you find that people, they will laugh with you, but inside their heart, it means a different thing altogether. Sometimes you find you'll be treated and discriminated in different places. Even sometimes you can go to a job interview, they will not tell you directly, but they will do coffet, and you find that you're not getting it. The other dangerous thing is the issue of psychopaths and sociopaths and misogynists. These are people whose mindset has gone wrong. Somebody will kill somebody. It doesn't matter whether you're a foreigner or whether you are local. Misogynists, they hate women. And you'll find that somebody will have disappeared only to be found somewhere. He has been raped and he has been killed. It doesn't matter whether you're a foreigner or whether you're local. Misogynists, they don't like men. They don't like women. Psychopaths and sociopaths, they just hate people for no good reasons. And sometimes they'll kidnap people and they'll go and kill them. And therefore, being a foreigner, sometimes even you become more vulnerable, and you have to know where you have to be, and also have good, being in touch with your people or the people that know you, and especially, the associations that belong to your country, so that if you face any danger, you can call somebody and say, I'm in this place and this is happening. You also find homelessness, some people asking for handouts in the street. Not on, mostly it's not even foreigners, because foreigners will be afraid of doing that, but you find local people. But also even foreigners, they can face homelessness once they come here and they cannot afford to pay bills. Living abroad is not a bed of roses. What do you need to know? it's a very expensive life. Life is very expensive because of the bills. It will force you to work more than 2 jobs or 2 jobs at least. Respect people when if you decide you're going to be driving when you come in a foreign land, here during the zebra crossing, you must stop. There are no major, you will not see police in so many places. There are less police as compared to Kenya. Here you find about only 25% of the police walking around, but people are monitored using the CCTV. There's a saying we have here in UK that people are monitored with about 300 to 360 CCTV cameras. Therefore, if you're not doing the right thing, somebody will end up just knowing that you have done the wrong thing. And what they normally do, the police will send you a letter, say you crossed zebra crossing, or you parked somewhere and you did not pay parking fees. And therefore, you are required to go and pay, and you pay with penalty. If you are driving past the speed that is required, in the estate, the speed is different. In highways, the speed is different. And certain roads, depending on the class of the load, the speed is different. If you break the law, you'll receive a letter from the police, and it will tell you you need to go to a police station, and you'll be forced to do another driving course with a certain test so that next time you don't do the same thing. The issue of working experience and work attitude is valued more than qualification. If you show you have the right attitude, then you can easily get the job even when you don't have qualification, then you'll be trained. Especially here in Europe, they value NVQ, which means National Vocational Qualification. These are qualifications that are offered on job. Like those who are coming to work in care, they will be offered those trainings in the workplace. Academic work is not so much valued unless you are doing some of the jobs like the ones I do, or people who are working in particular professionals, or those who are working, coming here to work as nurses. Transport modes, you find train and buses and bicycles and motorcycles are preferred. Timekeeping is very important. If you are late for interview, if you are late for doctor's appointment, or you are late where you are going, you cannot be allowed. If you miss job by not keeping time, you lose the job straight away. Animals, you must respect them. And consumerism and materialism is great one. People, they will buy clothes during the winter. When winter is gone, they sell or they dispose. They go to the summer, they get clothes. Then again, when season changes, they throw away, and many other things that people will buy. Benefits of working abroad. You might think and ask me, how comes I'm only talking about the things that are challenging and things that might scare somebody coming abroad? Not necessarily. You can come and work abroad. You get better life depending on the country to country. Currency is high value. For example, when the war started between Ukraine and Russia, 1 shilling was changing to 150. I mean, when I have £1, I could exchange it with 150 shillings. Now, as the government intervened back in Kenya, and the prices of oil went a bit down, now £1 is changing to 142 or 143. So you find you can get more money. If you are working in a foreign land and you're sending money back home, you get more money. So electricity and gas is guaranteed 24/7. So you never see any darkness at all. Jobs, they are available on shift 24/7, 365 days. As long as you have signed exemption 48 hours rule, that you can work more than 48 hours, you can work overtime, and you can work as many jobs as possible. Safety from the police and community policing and neighborhood is very, very good. But remember, I said those with children, if you're traveling abroad, never leave a children who is below 16 years old in your house, below 16 years, because even the neighbors will watch when you're leaving, and they will call the safeguarding, or they will call the social services, and the child will be taken away. Investment use because you're gonna earn some good money, you can invest back home and higher returns if you're buying the stocks and shares. If you're buying properties, again, back home, you'll be able to do that when you are working abroad. Now, saving and sending money back home. Obviously, if you come here, some of the preferred methods of sending money back home is World Remit, Western Union, Remitry, and Nara. And especially if you're in US, Nara is more common there. Of course, sending back home, you need to decide on how you're gonna invest your money, because after some time, you'll find that you'll not be able to work the way you are working when you came here. Obviously, you will decide to go and retire back home, because as you grow older and older here, and with the weather being the way it is, you find investment back home can be great. So some of the ways you could do is send your money to a family member, but it must be trusted and honest. But caution, because many people have sent money from here or from any country abroad, they send money back home, but then the relatives, they keep eating the money. They take the pictures and they said to you, we are building your house now is being put the windows, now the roofing has taken place, this or the other. But when you go back home, you find there's no house like the one you were told. You can send the money to an honest and trusted friend, but be careful who you're sending to. You can wire money back home to your bank, or you could use companies like, for example, Optifen, use your username investment, AMG, and many others that are property companies, and they could buy the land for you and they can develop for you, or even back on housing that we have been told many times by Grace. Then the other thing is you can invest with a stockbroker or investment company of your choice, or you can buy a business or a holiday home back home, and that can help you. But make sure you do due diligence, because not every person who is advertising that is selling properties or is investment is honest. Use the embassy in the country where you are going to go, because they can be able to advise you and tell you. And the other thing, you can open an account where you can go and invest. For example, you could send the money to Kenya Police Circle. I was seeing it in the TV last week that they do allow foreigners to invest in them, and they have been there for 50 years doing great work. Disadvantages of working abroad: cultural shocks, which I've explained many times. Working shocks: you don't have any rest. Most of the time it's Monday to Sunday. And if not, if you're working with children, you have small children, you are leaving work, then to come and look after children, then you go in the shift in the night. If sometimes you have left the family back home, you are sending the money back home. So no rest. Most of the jobs is 24/7, and therefore you are working shift to shift. You may not get the type of food that you are used to, and that can also become a great challenge, and especially if you have health needs. Loss of family time and friends is also a big one, because you cannot visit people unless you have appointment with them. Family breakdown is a big one. Marriages, they break down, and you find the husband has gone to marry somebody else, wife has gone to somebody else. The issue of family connection issues: you may not be able to attend some of the family issues, birthdays, weddings, your cousins' activities, and many other things. Comfort: working here abroad is like a bee making honey. Bear that in mind. Working abroad is like bee making honey. It is expensive, and taxes, they are very expensive as well. Also, if you are old or maybe you are planning the issue of your funeral, the funeral can be very expensive in UK and many foreign countries. So before you board the plane or a ship to green pastures, think twice, pray about it, seek advice, and make your own decision. Let nobody influence you. How do you adapt in a foreign land? Number one, essential preparation is very important. First thing is, because of the shocks that I've mentioned, if you can do some cross-cultural training or talk to somebody who is in a foreign land, let him advise you in the specific country that you want to go, how to adapt, what to prepare, and when you are going, know which dresses and which coats and trousers, all types of clothes that you need to wear or you need to buy before you travel. Have an open mind to run and to adapt to changes, Make sure you can use computers. Make sure you are literate and numerate, because most of the jobs it will involve being ability to use, you have to use a bit of mathematics in one way or another. And literate, you are going to speak English, or if you are going to speak, you are going to Emirates or Arab countries, you need to know at least basic Arabic language, or be willing to be trained when you go there. If you're going to China, at least basic Chinese language can help you, or be willing when you go there that you'll be trained on basic language that is being used there. It's good to have a mobile phone with the backup and backup money to use for the first 2 months, because when you arrive here, the life might not be the same. Homesick and loneliness is a big issue. It's good to have email account and formal email account. Don't have an email that when you said to the employers, they think you are a joker and they decide they are not going to give you the job. CV and covering letters is good to have them. And also if you could have Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive and Dropbox, where you could save a couple of CVs and other your certificates and other things that you may need when you are in a foreign land. It's good to have support systems in place where you can anchor or you can find support. Ability to speak a foreign language can be great. I want to give an example of a Kenyan couple that left 20 years ago, and what they did when they came to UK, and they went to US, these ones. They had a very good house somewhere in Karen, and they decided to give their house to a neighbor who had big children who did not have enough space to live. And he said, just use that house because we don't plan to come back. And when they came to US, just exactly 1 year, the husband could not be able to cope up with the jobs that he was finding. And also the wife was not able to work in the shifts that she was getting. And they decided to go back home, only to find that the house they had given to somebody, he said, sorry, when you left, you gave us the house. So there's no way we are giving you the house. So be careful before you leave. Any arrangement you make, things can go a different way from what you had planned, and you may find yourself coming back. Working abroad, think before you jump. Tips of making you successful when you move abroad, whether temporarily or permanently. Be careful with where you're going. Have an open mind and willingness to learn. Be careful with friends and associations, because some of the people you're gonna find, or even you call friends when you come here, some of them will betray you. Also make sure at least you can interact with the associations that belong to your country where you go. And before you send the job offer, make sure you read the small lines, what it means in terms of what is expected of you. Are you there, Kevin? I saw like the ghost static. Okay, that's fine. So I was saying, before you sign the job, make sure you read the small lines. And also, if you are going to live in a country, foreign country, know the weather and how the weather is. Some countries is very hot. Some countries is too cold, like Europe. You need to be careful about it. If you're going to use the same phone you're using, make sure it's unlocked. Also notify the mobile provider if you're going to use the phone because of the data. If you're going to use the credit card or bank cards abroad, notify the insurer or the banks. Also, the other thing is you need to keep contact with your family members back home, and even where you're going to be going. If you're going to a university or to study in abroad, or you're going to stay with a particular family, or you're going to live in a certain accommodation, make sure you know the full address and the full details if it's road road and other things. Because once you reach in the airport, before they permit you to come in, they will do some short interview. Where are you going to live? What is the address? What is the postcode? What is the road? What is this or the other? Also have light clothes because the weather is very unstable. And also carry your medication, the essential medication that you need. Also, it might help you if you could download exchange apps like Converter, because once you move to a foreign land, the currency that you come with from your country, it means different in the country that you're going to go. You might need to exchange to the currency of where you're going. Also, it is essential you keep contact with the people that you're going to be visiting if you're coming as a tourist, or if you're coming as working, but you're going to stay with some people. And also, even if you're not going to stay with somebody, make sure you know the association that belongs to that particular, to your country of origin. For example, if you are coming in UK and you belong to, you come from Kenya, there's Kenyan associations in every part of UK. So make sure you know the president of that association, because when you arrive, you'll be the best person to direct you or to help you and support you as you settle down. Know your schedule of your host, because you cannot visit them without appointment. The other thing, it might, just to repeat myself, knowing a basic language, foreign language, it will help you. And especially if you're going to an English speaking country. The other thing is, if you have invitation letters, you're coming or as on work visa, student visa, tourist visa, make sure you got printed letters and others that you have sent to your iCloud, because once you arrive in the airport, they won't prove. Otherwise, they will return you back. The other address, I've spoken about that. Keep constant communication with everyone that need to know. And also, it's good to inform the embassy once you arrive in the country where you are, because they will be helpful. Friendship and relationship and dating, if you're traveling because of that, make sure you know the person very, very well. And if you can, try to ask the people in that country about the person. Not everything that greets us is good. There are some foreigners who have been invited, they meet with the hosts and they have been killed. As I said, there are some people who are psychopaths, sociopaths, and misogynists. You have to be very, very careful. You decide you're going to study abroad, then obviously make sure you have the permit visa as a student. And if you're working, you have the work permit. And if you're a tourist visa. But make sure you follow the conditions of the visa, because if you don't, you get into big problem. Driving is allowed, but you have to follow to do the driving in the country you go, and you can only be permitted once you pass the test. Make sure you drive in the right lanes. For example, we have bus lanes and bicycle lanes, and we have the normal lanes. If you drive in a bus lane, you're gonna receive penalties and you're gonna pay a lot of money. If you are driving very fast in the estates, you're gonna receive some penalties, and some of them are fixed penalties. If you get 6 points, it might be hard for you to work most of the jobs that involve safeguarding. Park in the right places. Never park on the yellow lanes, because that is for disabled. Never pass the zebra crossing, because it will be a big issue when people are crossing, and other things. Now, to give you a leverage on jobs, you need to do some trainings. When you are there, or even when you come in UK or any other country, you are coming. Obviously, as Pathway Solution Services, from time to time, as Grace has always said, we give RMS training, and we can give you some coaching and mentoring if you want, and those are our contacts. As I finish, settling abroad. If you come to settle abroad, keep contacts with your family members and close members. I'll be finishing in the next 3 minutes. So if you have any question, please put it on the chat. Keep contacts with your family members. Budget, when you come here, do not overspend the money, because not everything that greets us is good, and here is not a bed of roses. Pay your bills on time. If you don't pay council tax, you can be taken to court, and even it can be a criminal case. Of course, you have to register for voting. Here is a must. You don't have a choice. You can decide not to vote, but you must register for voting. Respect the work visa conditions. If you come here as a student, it's 20 hours working during the term time, but during the summer, you can work unlimited hours. Academic work, if you come as a student, make sure you pass your exams. If you are not passing exams or you are missing your course, they will report you to the Home Office, which is Immigration Office, and you'll be returned back. Priority, make sure even as you work as a B, academic, health, and balanced life, make sure it's important. Do not leave your God in Kenya or leave God in the country you are. Make sure you go with your God wherever you go. Relaxation and saving is important. So where can you get help? If you come to any country, as I said, join the country associations where you are. If you come to my city, I'm the president of the association and the chair, so I can guide you on that. Join the WhatsApp group in the country where you are going. You'll get a lot of information. If you do not have work experience, volunteer yourself. Join a religious group of your faith and be careful to live with your God. Register with your embassy and diplomatic missions, and also register for the gym if you can for exercises. There are some bodies that can help you if you get trouble, like Citizen Advice Bureau and other free registered organizations. The government organizations in the country where you are living, like embassies, they can also help you. If you're a student, student union can help you, and also trade unions can help you. If you cannot get help, if you're getting discrimination, then obviously you can contact Human Rights or Equality Commission. Make sure you seek help early enough, because mental health is a real issue. And also other challenges that you face here. Update your diary and essential contacts of the people that matter with you whenever you go to work, whenever you go to school, because you might need them. You have to register with your GP anytime you come in a foreign land, because prescriptions can only be issued by them. Keep your essential contacts, save the tips from the police, follow them, and also know where the pharmacy is just in case you need Capon for your kids when they are unwell, but they cannot issue you prescription drugs. Nelson Mandela said, as I close, education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change the world. If you want to change your world, education and knowledge is the most important. Doing business in a foreign land, next time when Grace gives me an opportunity to speak to you, I'll share what is different. Obviously, because of the culture that I've been mentioning this what is called Hofstede culture. And one of the issues I've been mentioning is individualism and capitalism in the Western world. Life is just about yourself and your family, not anybody else. That's why you find most of the people will be very lonely and nobody is helping. That is about individualism and about different countries, how they view the Hofstede dimension of culture. Research the country that you're going to go, think logically, and as you cast your borders to go there, make sure you're mentally strong. These are not countries for the weak people. You must be strong enough. And you must be willing to show can-do attitude and take instructions. I conclude by saying, working abroad, think before you jump. And I give you one quote by Ernest: don't just jump into action just because people are taking action. Know and understand the next reaction and the reaction that you follow after you jump. That is very, very important. Before you jump, know why you're jumping. Don't just jump because other people are jumping. If you want RMS courses, coaching and all this kind of thing, as I said, Grace has my contact and my contacts are also there. Thank you so much for listening. And I had offer back to Grace for anybody who have any question.
Interesting, Frank. That was quite elaborate. And I'm busy wondering, are there people who actually make it in the foreign lands?
They do, because I've made it. As I said, I got the job working in office-related jobs, contrary to what my financial director had told me. And there are so many people are making, but you have to do more than one job.
Okay. I can see Kimani saying, I made it big time. I know there's a bit of a difference between what happens in the UK and what happens in the US, because like, my friend who is in the US was talking about they in Minnesota, they actually even have mboga kienyeji, courtesy of our Kisii brothers and sisters. So I think the dynamics are a bit different for different people. Kimani is saying, I even resigned a big job and came back home. That is really good to know. Frank, somebody is asking, there are a lot of opportunities to move to Canada. I had seen something like that in the chat, but there's somebody who's saying, can you outline some of the legit organizations that take people to Europe? Because we have so many scammers, especially here in Kenya, which pretend to help people, but end up taking people's money and defrauding people.
What I can do on that, I'm going to email Grace for some of you that would like to come and work for some of these sectors. For example, nurses, the Nursing Association in UK, I know the person who is leading it and they are recruiting nurses. I also know some people who are recruiting care. HGV drivers, they are on demand in this part of the world. So I'll make some few contacts and send them to Grace.
Excellent. Thank you very much. That will probably be very helpful for some people. But the other question I was getting on my WhatsApp, Frank, is you have lived in the UK for over 10 years and you don't have an accent. Yet our brothers and sisters go to America or UK for 2 days and they already pick up the British accent. How have you managed to keep it local?
Yeah, that's very true. Sorry, I set alarm. That was one of the challenges I had when I was thinking to come here. Would I be able, with my Kikuyu accent, be able to change it? But I learned that just like Martin Luther King said, a time will come when we are not judged by the content of our skin or the color, but by what we can deliver. So myself, because I teach my children in Kikuyu when they come in the evening and Swahili, and then when I go to work for the employers, I speak English. So there's no way that I will twang in a certain way that people do. But there are quite a lot of people who pretend that they want to talk in a foreign language so that people they can know they live in a foreign land. But me, I'm original as I am.
Okay, and Kathy says, sending money to relatives and friends to invest for you back home, utalilia chooni.
Yeah, it is. There are so many people who I know who have been sent pictures. They have been told this house is in Luda, is like this, like this. When they are alive, some of them have got heart attack on reaching to see a very small, thin house, only to be told by the employees who are working in the site that, you know what, if you go this and this place, that's where that house is, the one you have been sent the pictures.
Okay. And Kumbe, it's not. And I like what Kimani is saying. For you to know the listed legitimate companies for overseas jobs, please, Kenyan, always check with MFA, that is Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That is what the advice from Kimani is. The offices are along Harambee Avenue. There's somebody who's saying, what would be your advice for those who want to study abroad in terms of scholarships and university terms?
Let me first, before I answer that on scholarship, I'm going to share this slide. Obviously, I'll send it to Grace, and I'm going to include one of the things that the government there, for those who are living in Kenya, Ministry of Labor is trying to create a database of the Kenyans who are living abroad and even how they can get jobs or get some help, because that is very important, how the ministry, the government is doing, so that when the cases are reported of people being killed in foreign land or this happening, the ministry can be able to track on that. Yeah, scholarships, there are so many scholarships that are available every year. One of the good thing we have as Kenyans, or many countries, not only Kenya, any country that was colonized by British, there is what we call Commonwealth Scholarships, and they are available every year for anybody and everybody to apply, as long as you have an offer in the country where you are going, and especially UK, because those are offered by the government. What I'm going to do is Since some of you have that interest, whenever I get any scholarships, I'll be pushing them to Grace, and Grace will be sharing with you.
Okay, and then somebody is saying, please share Frank's contact in the chat. So as Frank shares his email, and if you want it, you can also get in touch with me. Frank, somebody is asking, would you advise someone moving to Austria? What would you advise someone moving to Austria with family?
Although I have never lived in Austria, but all European countries' experience is almost the same. The differences is just very little, maybe few hours times difference, and a few jobs that might be different. But every country is rightly the same. If you want to get my contacts, I can research for you more about the jobs, opportunities, and other things concerning living there, and I can send it to you.
Okay. There's somebody who's asking, how much petty cash do you need to survive abroad? And then she's gotten an answer, somebody saying, I traveled to DRC, Kinshasa with 20K petty cash, and it couldn't serve me for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's shocking. It's shocking because when I left there, I came with 10,000 Kenya shillings, and I thought, that is like $1 million. Only to come when I did the conversion, I found that it's like a water drop. But what I can say, if somebody is open to do any job and every job, there are so many jobs. The only thing you require is just to have work permit, or if you're a student, because you're around 20 hours, you can be able to survive. Because when you come immediately, there are jobs. There are so many jobs. I saw the question about Canada. Also, there are so many jobs available there, but don't forget Canada, in some parts, it is very cold. So if you're going there, especially Toronto, be very careful in terms of weather. It can be very cold.
Okay. Mary Celesta, you have your hand up. As we try finish, Frank, as Mary is unmuting herself, there's somebody who's saying, did you give the tips for the person in Austria with family?
Yes, I did, and I said if he or she want more details, let her or him drop me an email. I'll research more details about Austria, and I said to him or her.
Okay, and then what is your take on Kenyans abroad who con others, especially those in US, targeting single Kenyan ladies working in Gulf?
Yeah, that is very true. That is something that happens. And this is not only the Kenyans living there, it's all foreigners and even local people. Sometimes you find that some people, they form a cohort. Like you found those days when we used to have kidnapping of children from Kenya coming to UK. It's a cohort that is joined with a chain of people to do the bad things. Or what I can say, if you are going because of dating or a partnership or getting somebody to marry you or inviting you for a marriage relationship or any relationship that you're going there, please have somebody else who is in that country to research for you. And especially the chairmen of the associations in the country where you are going to go, or county, or the area that you are going to go. Because not everything that greets us is good. Crooks are everywhere.
Okay. And then for those of you who are asking for Frank's email, the screen right now, he has displayed it. And maybe Kevin, you can help us type it on the chat. Mary Onditi had allowed you to speak. Mary Celesta Onditi. I don't know whether you want to unmute yourself. Mary Celesta Onditi.
Yes, I have written my question on the chat. Kindly see the chat, please.
Okay.
Yes, I've seen it. Yeah, good question. Two things. Let me start with the citizenship. How did I become a British citizen? When I came here, I was just coming temporarily for a period of maybe 2 to 3 years, and then I go back. But after 3 years, I got, because that time the law was different, I got the indefinite leave to remain, and a year after, I became a British citizen. Now, the law as it is now, if you stay for 5 years continuously, depending on the visa that you have, you may apply for another 3 years. And then after that, you apply for another 2 years. Once you are 10 years, you automatically become a British citizen. That's about citizenship. About the children coming to school and high schools, I wouldn't encourage you to bring children here to come and do high school, unfortunately, because the many children here, they drift away, one, from their faith in God. That's number one. Number two, they run bad vices or bad behaviors. Number three, you can't discipline a child in this part of the world. You can only soothe the child and say, please behave properly, please do this or the other. They don't, the children have so much rights. It's only the social services and the school who can help you to discipline the kid. The only thing you can discipline is take the phone away. But I can encourage you to send the children to universities here because the quality of education is very, very good. But whether yourself or other people you say, or your kids, you need to tell them the quality of education here is application-based, not knowledge-based like in Kenya.
Okay. And there's somebody who is asking, Frank, Kevin, if you can also share Frank's, Frank at pathwaysolutionsservices.co.uk. There's somebody who is saying, please share information on how to migrate to Canada and Australia with family, especially for professionals.
Again, that person can drop me an email and I can research more of Canada, the current immigration rules. I know friends of mine who are in Canada, and one of them, I did the document for him before he moved to Canada. But because that was 12 years ago, I've not looked at the current registration of immigration through in Canada, how they look like. But based on my first experience, I worked as immigration case worker, I can research and I can email you the information.
Okay, and then I think the last one for tonight, because I can see really time has really gone. I have a friend, or rather, I know somebody who does what do we call it? She's a relocation coach. She helps people who want to move abroad, and she supports you in preparation and all that. Maybe some of you can get in touch with me, and I'm able to also share with you. All right, so thank you very much, Frank, for your insight. I think that was quite insightful. I think you've shared quite a lot, and we really appreciate that. And I think you've done us quite a good job. And we really appreciate your partnership as well. Grace, assist us with your contacts. Kevin will type my email address to you just now. And yeah, for those of you who are asking for the recording, we will upload this on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is Get It Right with Atara Solutions, and we'll have the recording there probably by Friday, so you can be on the lookout. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then yeah. So for the person asking for my email address, it's there. And you can get in touch with me, and we'll be able to share with you whatever information coming from Frank or from any other support that you may need.
The other thing is, I'm giving 5 courses. I mean, 5 people. I'm giving them 2 courses. So if you can select 5 people.
I know, Sandra, you're there. Frank, we have about 8 people from last week whose emails are still pending on my inbox.
Yeah.
And they still want conflict resolution. I'm tempted to give them.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because they work. Oh God, last week we got like 10, and yeah. Sandra, Joy, fine. We will include you in that list for being a follower of an ardent follower of Get It Right with Atara Solutions. And Frank runs Pathway Solutions. Allow me to just let Kevin do this, because he's been too silent today. Kevin. We can't hear you, Kevin. You're on mute.
Sorry. Let me acknowledge our partners for the season 3. We have Balcon Housing, which is a real estate and property management company. We are also in partnership with Stallion Company, a construction company that deals with the construction and construction services, that is renovation offices and partitioning, changing of tiles, etc. within a building or a home. We have Ames College of Business, a college based in Nairobi. They also offer business courses from CHRP, HR, that is for the HR professionals around. And the HR professionals who are following us, you can get in touch with them. We have the career management system. Career management system is a HR consultancy firm that deals with trainings, and Jen is the coach, the lead coach, and she helps people walk in their journey that is for job seekers. And she has also great programs for those moms who are looking to get back into employment after taking their mommy breaks. We have WeClean. WeClean is a cleaning solutions company. They help you with cleaning your carpets within Nairobi, and even currently they're doing everything in the house, like whatever you want. If it's your chairs, your seats, your duvets, kindly get in touch with them and they'll be able to get it back to you within 24 hours. We have Pathway Solutions. Pathway Solutions, again, you've just heard Mr. Frank saying that they have some trainings for us. The HR, it's a consulting firm that deals with trainings, and they have an LMS program that helps you train within your convenience. Back to you, Grace.
Thank you very much. I put you on the spot. Thank you very much, Kevin. Pathway Solution Services have courses in marketing, running a business, HR related, personal development, like how to build your confidence, emotional intelligence, conflict management, teamwork, entrepreneurship 101, running a business on social media. There's a lot. And as we share Frank's presentation, we will attach the company's, what do we call it, profile, so that you can see what Pathways is offering, and you can also jump on board and take on a course or two to help you support you as you go, because soft skills training are necessary, like Frank has said. Thanks so much, Grace. I just came in on time. I'm thinking of relocating abroad. Yes. Let's keep learning. Let's keep it real. I mean, this is where we do this every Tuesday. We have, oh my God, we're on almost half in media terms, we are already past season 1, because media one season is about 12 episodes. So we are already halfway mid season 2, and we are really excited about that. And we intend to keep doing this for as long as we can. And we appreciate that we have partners who are supporting us, because my God, Zoom has become so expensive right now. We can barely keep up. So Sandra, please send me an email. You know the drill. Send me an email and we'll hook you up with Pathway Solutions training. Parting shot, Frank, 1 second.
2 things. Somebody asked in the chat whether I'm going to share the presentation. The presentation will be with Grace in the next 10 minutes. My parting shot is, if you can dream, you can achieve, if you are willing to pay the price. And when you leave Kenya or leave country where you are, do not leave your God. Because without God, you will not make it. God, resilience, and patience and focus is the key.
Thank you, Frank. I think that sums it up. Catherine, somebody is asking for your number. You can put it on the chat, and because they are not looking to date you, come on. And even if they were, so what? Anyway, I'm pulling her leg. Please note, Kimani, please forgive me. And that was on a light note. And thank you so much, Catherine, for doing this. We appreciate you. Thank you very much, Kevin, for making it here. Thank you, Frank, for being very helpful. We do this next week, Tuesday. We are likely to be having a mental health session. If not, we'll have a leadership session next week.